Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Should I keep going? Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
Something else that the jurors saw today that sort of connects it back to this alleged criminal enterprise are 7 photos of people that were very close to Sean Combs, one even his former chief of staff. And these were all people that Cassie Ventura was able to name and explain the functions in terms of what they did: security, driver, chief of staff, someone that handled financials. So it's showing that she knew some of these people, again, because she was with him, around him for so long.
Jaguar Wright recently spoke out in her direct style, claiming several celebrities left the U.S. after Cassie Ventura's testimony against Sean Diddy Combs became public. Her statements quickly gained traction, spreading widely across social media and entertainment news platforms.
The trial is opening up. People keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it.
Rapper Tory Lanez, who's currently serving a decade in prison behind bars.
There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on That 70s Show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughter.
According to Wright, after Cassie described years of mistreatment and alleged criminal behavior by Sean Combs, several well-known figures chose to leave the country. Even if only briefly, they did so out of concern that their names might become entangled in the legal proceedings.
First time you heard me say that Sean Combs trafficker, and you said I was a liar because I was jealous, because I wasn't his girlfriend, because I wasn't successful in the music industry, because I didn't have a hit record, because I didn't live in a mansion, because I didn't have diamonds. You said all of these things about me because I told the truth. You disgraced my name, my legacy, my family. You stalked, you hunted me. You harassed my friends. You put pressure on my personal relationships to the point where I had to completely disassociate myself from the whole life just so I could carry the burden.
Wright began by praising Cassie's courage, then detailed how, from May 13th to May 16th, Ventura gave extensive testimony about years of intimate acts allegedly controlled by Combs, including physical violence and coercion. The trial attracted significant attention, not only due to serious charges like trafficking, racketeering, and transportation for prostitution, but also because of the many celebrities mentioned during jury selection and witness testimony. Wright noted that some of these famous individuals, fearing media exposure or harm to their reputations, quickly left the country after Cassie's story began making headlines, further fueling public and media interest.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Mm-hmm. Kim's dead. Mm-hmm. Heavy D is dead. Mm-hmm. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And Then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas. And then the next thing you know, you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning.
You know, back then, 3-4 years ago,
gonna come forward.
So what did you? How do you know? What did you know about what Cat? Because
I
to
wish
hear
I could
that,
explain.
yeah,
But if I explain how I knew Cassie was gonna come forward, that could hurt some people. I don't spend time around Cassie, and I haven't seen Cassie in person since she was with Ryan Leslie.
was there something in her eyes that you saw? The way, like now
I'll
that
put it to you this way: there are mutual acquaintances between her and I. Can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one. I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane. Move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
yeah,
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened with 5 people. Andre Harrell, Al B. Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim, she was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting? You want to know what they all had in common, though? They were all writing tell-all books. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? There's too many coincidences. Fuck you, Honeycomb. We gonna get you and your little dog, too. Run as fast as Cassie did. I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
If Kim Porter hadn't done what she done,
there would be no Cassie to testify.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing 1 and thing 2. They've been covering each other's ass a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone. Clive Davis, Diddy. Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse. What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it. Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades.
I go to Diddy parties, which is where people like me step in. To walk my out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels?
Yeah.
When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Never. Not in entertainment.
Tupac. Remember that one? That was.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
You saw how that turned out.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah, no, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another.
Alleged that some of our favorite celebrities like Doja Cat, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, 2 Chainz are all caught up or have been caught on camera allegedly under the influence. And that a few celebrities have died. They're saying that Brittany Murphy died from.
It's been more than a few.
Before we get there, do you feel like Diddy's defense is going to have a strong opening statement? Just
No.
in regards to-
They couldn't even get a postponement. If they were begging for a 2-month postponement, and then when they said no, they said, well, 2 weeks. It's because they don't have a strong opening statement. They have no statement.
What's gonna happen next? No more filter. From this point forward, any word that I say, I ain't holding back. And I ain't saying alleged either. Y'all said I was lying the first time. Now it turns out I'm telling the truth. You still don't want to admit that I was right, but you don't want to admit that you was wrong. I'm gonna just keep ruining your lives with the truth.
And here we go.
Shout out to Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lunell Campbell.
Let's go.
Shout out to Kanye Ye West. Shout out to my very good friend, Fred Hampton Jr., the chairman of the board for the Black Panther Party. What really does make sense is that Diddy has had a long career of using to trap niggas into making them do what he wants to do or using them to move them out the way. How is Faith Evans any different than Lauren London? How? No difference at all.
The Jaguar Wright show. Here we
Okay, oh, you got this your security too? Oh wow, Jaguar came with security too.
Nice to meet you.
You know, this first and foremost, I mean, this is, the day of this fire, everything that's trying to become, what are you feeling, what are you experiencing right now, how important does it for you to be here?
Paramount. There needs to be someone here who's been here all along. I've been waiting for this moment for 5 years, and here we are. And I'm praying that everyone remembers there are survivors, real life survivors. And I hope that everyone takes into account how necessary a true verdict, a just verdict now